Okay, so we are here to tell how to take a 200-year-old bank to cloud. So a few words about myself and then Markus. So I have been here working for Saving Banks Group for 7 years, head of IT. And altogether I have something like 27 years of professional experience, but my background is an IT nerd, so I've been doing this all my life, basically.
Yeah, thank you, Pekka. And my name is Markus Saari. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for the Finnish Savings Bank Group. I've been in the group now, I think, for 5.5 years or something, and been the CTO for about 3.5 years. And lately, I also took the responsibility of our operational information security and now taking care of those things, and have been working with the whole cloud journey for about 3.5 years, and I'm delighted to tell you all about that.
Great. So when we say that we are taking bank to cloud, so what is the bank? So some of you might know, but to make sure that we are on the same page, so we are a group consisting of 14 independent banks. We have a 200 years of history, so we have been here for a long time. We have 100 branches, close to 400,000 customers. We have 1,300 employees, roughly. Some of financial figures, but if I highlight something, our revenue is roughly 500 million euros annually. We have a profit of something like more than 100 million euros, although this year will be much better as banks are doing good, as everybody probably knows. We have total assets of maybe 13 billion euros, and when it comes to the IT, we are spending roughly 100 million euros annually on IT. And when I say IT, that's a legacy with capital L, so we have everything since landing on moon running there on production. So our objective as a bank, and we actually just updated our business strategy. It was approved in June by the board. So it's of course to be profitable, but now we have a growth strategy, and for us it's really sustainable growth, and that's a new thing for us, and it's a kind of a biggest focus. But the second thing is that since we are kind of a medium-sized bank in Finland, we cannot compete to be the most kind of efficient when it comes to the transaction cost. So our competitive advantage is really the best customer service. So it's an ambitious goal, but at the moment I would say that our NPS for customer service is around 84. So we are actually doing extremely good compared to any industry or any other company in Finland. And of course we have to be efficient as we are a group on our way of working, and we want to attract the best talent. But when it comes to the kind of a mission, so everybody wants to be sustainable nowadays. But we have been doing that for 200 years. So that's in our DNA. We want to really promote the financial well-being and prosperity of people in Finland and in the local communities. So that's about us. So then it's a kind of a more personal story for me when it comes to the cloud, and it all started in 2012. So I left Nokia. I joined a small startup in Finland, and my job was to get everything on AWS, deploy and operate the services there. That was the first time I saw the light. So cloud is the solution. The startup itself didn't really work for me, but it was perfect solution for that environment because, easy to and fast to deploy, no upfront cost, really fast scalability and all that stuff. But I left the startup and then I joined Samlink, which was providing at the time, all the critical IT services for maybe 5 different banks in Finland. And I kind of thought that this is my chance. I will save Finnish banking system with the cloud. I stayed there for 4 years, didn't achieve much on that front. I was head of infrastructure, so it was actually my job to do, but I failed. So maybe I could sell it somehow internally, but externally the customers, they were not ready. The banks were kind of lagging behind. It was kind of all the regulation security, but at the end of the day, I didn't, sell it good enough. But then in 2017 came my next chance. So I was asked to be the CTO or join as a CTO in the Samlink's biggest customer, Saving Banks Group. And that was actually my job now, finally, to take at least one bank to cloud. So we started IT strategy work, and we defined the target architecture and the operating model for IT. IT was really small at the time, and we had to set the direction, we had to set the kind of a, vision that where we want to go. And we did that, and target architecture, so this is overly simplified picture of that, but to get some idea that what kind of a banking is consisting of when we are providing digital services. That was the second time I kind of saw the light, because we spent half the time just to listen our bank CEOs, our board members, our business leaders, and we asked the question that what do you actually need from IT? So what needs to be better? And the message was really consistent. IT is too slow, it's too complex, it's too heavy, it's too costly. And basically, some of them said that we cannot get anything out if we ask, something from IT. So they have kind of given up. So I set my mission, let's fix that. And let's fix that with the technology, but of course, thinking from business perspective, what they actually need. So we defined business capabilities, led to IT capabilities, led to operating model, led to organization, led to roles. And now we had the vision and strategy, but we were missing people. So the whole idea was that and by the way, the work was called Cloudberry, so to kind of say that what is the technology platform. So it's going to be cloud, because we need to be faster. So then, we started to hire people, and one example is right here. So Markus, so simple mission. We need smarter people than me, tell how to do it. And Markus will soon tell how to do it. But, for example, in data and analytics, and we had few other areas, and we decided that we need to build a solid foundation and governance, and Solita came into picture. That was in 2019, roughly, that we signed the contract and started the work. So then came kind of a big question of what to do with the core banking, which is for us, it's payments, it's accounts, it's lending, it's customer information. And we started huge program with 3 different banks, renew everything at once. And some of you know, but if you don't, you can guess, we failed and I failed again. So we kind of took that again to the drawing board. We did again IT strategy work, that was in 2021, and then asked again question. Now, when it comes to the core services from the business leaders and the business side, what do you actually need? And it was pretty clear. So what they actually say that what is the problem, and our business is like 70% of our revenue is coming from the complex lending, so mortgages, SME loans, and they say that it's just too slow. It takes a lot of manual work. There are no harmonized processes, and the idea was that how about if we would automate the whole process? How about if we would be able to save the time from the bank employees and the bank advisors and utilize that time to sell more, to enable growth. So give them marketing, sales, and analytics tool that you can see there on the left side, and then have much better self-service capabilities and kind of automate the whole process for the group, and really have our employees to focus on customers rather than looking the backend systems. And then came the program. So we started that year ago. It's a 3 years program. It's going to be 100 million euros that we are spending. And what we are doing here is that we are renewing our lending solution and CRM, because we need to really renew the whole operating model and the kind of related end-to-end processes. So that's the whole kind of story for that. But of course, it needs a lot of IT work, and most of the money is going to IT. So we have 3 kind of go lives for Dynamics 365, and then we have a lending system which is running then on Solita's hosted cloud at the end of 26. But from IT perspective, it needs to be really kind of we need to be faster to adapt to the changing market than any of our competitors, need to be ultra secure and kind of really resilient. So then it comes to the cloud, but I'll let him to continue.
Thank you, Pekka. Yeah, like Pekka said, we're investing 100 million euros in the coming years to the program that Pekka just described, and it is by far the biggest individual investment that we've ever done. And I've used the word or the phrasing, it is actually the best cloud project program going on in Finland at the moment, and I think that definitely is the thing. I'm going to highlight a little bit on why did we go there and how did the journey actually happen? So, like Pekka said, when we decided to go public cloud, of course we need to reason that thing. So for us, it is not necessarily a cost-saving exercise. So it can be a cost-saving exercise, but for us, the whole delivery speed is the thing. So we want to be faster. We want to be more agile. So it is definitely a speed multiplying exercise. It's not that we want to be faster. We want to be faster by many times, by exponentially faster. We want to be able to prototype. We want to be able to fail fast. We've failed before. Some things might fail even now, but we want to fail fast. And then, of course, being in the business where we are and being in the industry where we are, the whole security aspect of public cloud is just a key capability for us. So everybody knows, unfortunately, we live in a world where the cyber threat landscape is continuously evolving. We feel that the whole public cloud is the tool for us to actually use methods just as described here that we can actually tackle the landscape that we are tackling at the moment. This is one slider on how we actually went there. So first thing, everything starts with the strategic decision. So you need to decide, this is what I want to do. When we did the strategy work, I was actually the lead architect for our data and analytics field at that time. I said that in that time, we could debate on core systems whether we should go cloud first or not. My statement always was that on the data and analytics, there is just cloud. So it's not a discussion. It's not up to debate anymore. So the technology is there, it's mature. And that's actually where we started. And it's interesting that our first business delivery actually was a data platform built on Snowflake, run on AWS, and we put our integration platform there as well. That was actually an interesting decision from the perspective that from the regulation perspective, we immediately went to the deep end. So that's where all our customer data is. You have to face all your GDPR discussions. You have to face all your security discussions. But then again, having done this and having gone through this exercise with our compliance, that kind of set a very good background for us to actually go further in the utilization of cloud platforms in other areas as well. We started with multi-cloud thinking. To be honest, we couldn't really make up our minds, so it was easy to justify and say that we're going to go multi-cloud because we kind of didn't know. But that's actually not too bad. So with the modern capabilities and modern technologies, building a multi-cloud setup is not that difficult. So it was good exercise for us. We built it. We host our workloads on the AWS and Azure, and then kind of start getting the feel that what is actually the strategic platform where we want to go. We built the foundation layer, AWS and Azure, centralized functions, governance, security, connectivity, what you need. My key point is follow vendor best practices. We don't claim to know how to do public cloud the best. There is no Finnish savings bank way. It is the best practice that we are following. Then we, of course, expanded our usage with business deliveries. Again, it's not an IT exercise. And then at the moment, we're in a point where we have then chosen that our future strategic platform is Microsoft Azure. We're in the middle of consolidation exercise. We're going to keep AWS as a multi-cloud resiliency platform just to be in line with some of the regulation that we have. And talking about regulation, so this is a slide that I'm going to show every single time that I present regarding our cloud stuff. So there's just some illustration about certain regulations that we have. Everybody who is in the industry knows the DORA, the Digital Operation Resiliency Act. There's some of the other papers that we have from EBA, European Bank Association, then some of the papers coming from the Finnish government. But those are actually, it's a good thing that we have these papers, right? So a lot of, when we talk about regulation, you quite often hear that, regulation is slowing us down and it's a insane amount of money and stuff. But I think that it's good that our government is actually thinking about these things and they are actually bringing us information and building us frameworks and building us things that we need to do. For example, if you think about DORA, there's not that much that we haven't done before. It's just DORA is just regulating us to do it better and be more consistent and document it better and that kind of stuff. This is the approach that we've used basically in all of our cloud things. That first of all, do your threat modeling. So you have to see what threats you have. You have to secure your data residency if you have those kind of requirements. For us, it's pretty obvious that we have to keep everything here in Europe. Encrypt everything, whether it's being in transit or in rest, and that's where the cloud platforms shine, because effectively everything is already encrypted. You can use all kinds of more detailed encryption methods, bring your own keys, those kind of stuff, but they will again bring you threats or possibilities that you need to be quite careful when implementing them. For us, this is where the magic happens. So distributing the risk, like geographically, cross-cloud, that is kind of unheard of when you think about those traditional ways of implementing stuff into data centers. And then at the end of the day, plan your DR and have an exit plan. So this is important, that you need to think that if all things fail, what will you do? And you have to understand what is business critical, what does your business need to survive, and what is regulated. Those two things overlap, but they are not necessarily the same thing. So a couple of lessons and key takeaways. You want to start with this, Pekka?
Oh yeah, so when I mentioned the business strategy, so really start from there. So what do business actually need? So don't go and talk about IT them first. They might care, they might not. But what you can guarantee that they care is their business. So if you can sell it from the business value, then it's easy. And then from there, of course, to IT strategy. Sure. So like I described, from business capabilities to IT capabilities. What is missing? What are the gaps? What actually needs to be improved? And then the solution might be cloud. Yep. And usually is.
Absolutely. Something that we've said a lot in these discussions is this, that lift and shift from our perspective is not a cloud transformation. So if you want to do a cloud transformation, doing a pure lift and shift, yes, you will get some of the benefits, for example, the security part, but most likely you will not get a lower TCO, and it will not speed up your delivery. So if you have those goals that we have, that you want to be fast, you want to be agile, you will not achieve it by doing a pure lift and shift. Then of course, like Pekka already mentioned, you need to get the people in, so you need to build a team, so you need to in-source key capabilities, you need to have your architects, your some of the people that will internally sell this to the internal stakeholders and actually drive this with your compliance people and whoever you need to be. Then of course you need to get help. So most of the companies will not be able to do this on their own. We teamed up with Solita and they have been helping us immensely here. And I think important is to find a suitable vendor who actually has a proven track record on this. You need to invest on your foundation work. That is the foundation that you're going to build all the services on. So if you go here the easy route, that will backfire later on. Start small, scale out, and of course, at the end of the day, our message is that be prepared to play the long game. It is definitely not a year-half project.
And if I go back to my personal story, for me it was 2 failures, 2 enlightenments, and 10 years. And then now I think we are on the right track. Thank you.
So that being said, thank you very much for listening us. Put some questions in the chat or reach us on LinkedIn or wherever. We will definitely answer those very happily.